everyone, good evening. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 4th November 2022. Okay, so the important news from today's newspaper is on text and context page talking about the urbanization, and you can see the photograph. Urbanization, the joys and the sorrows. So the lead article in this lecture will discuss about the urbanization, the causes and its fallouts, or the negative aspects, we can say the challenges of urbanization, and it is part of our GS1 paper from the society perspective, and along with that GS3 paper economy part. Fine. So in GS1 paper also geography part is also there. Briefly we will see the important articles from today's Hindu newspaper. I will mark the important articles here and then we will go in details of these articles. Okay, so fine. Look at this photograph. It is talking about the members of Garo tribal community performing Wangla dance on the occasion of Rising Sun Water Fest on the banks of Umiam Lake in Meghalaya. Okay, so we will deal with this in detail, this particular news from art and culture perspective. Now look at this news. This is related to art and culture, prelims examination. Look at this news. This is related to science and technology, GS3 paper as well as prelims. Okay, science and technology. What it is talking about, let's go in detail about this news here. See, Cordy gold nanoparticles. The outcome of collaborative experiments by the scientists from 4 Indian institutions has earned the international patent from Germany. The nanoparticles derived from synthesis of extracts of Cordyceps militaris. Cordyceps militaris is the lab grown variety of mushroom and which is having lot of medicinal properties. This is used here as a kind of nanoparticle which could be useful for making drug delivery in human bodies faster and more surer. We all know the use of nanoparticles as a part of nanotechnology. Already UPSC has asked question in mains examination on nanotechnology and its use in health sector, especially for targeted drug delivery. When the drug delivery in human is targeted for certain organs, then it is more effective. So you just remember that the lab grown mushroom, it is being used for as a let's say production of nanoparticles which could increase the rate of drug delivery, and it will make also very, we can say that, surer that the drug is delivered at the targeted area within the human body. Fine. The other articles that we will discuss in today's session. Okay, so look at this news. RESAT-2 satellite makes re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. So for prelims examination, remember this: science and technology, space technology, science and technology. So we will see in details about this news. Okay. Fine. Today's editorial, they are not that much relevant. You can see that this is talking about the Communist Party of China, and it had the 20th session of party and what was decided in that party. That is not much important. This is having the context of COP27 that is going to happen now in Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt. So we will see the outcome when this particular COP will happen. This article is talking about what is going to be there, what should happen there in that COP, what should be discussed. That aspect is being discussed in this article. So yes, I already told you there will be many articles this month regarding climate change, because of this COP 27. So the important articles only we will discuss. Fine. So I was talking about this article here on text and context, mapping India's urbanization rate, consumption and employment patterns. Okay, so look at this map. It is talking about urbanization. The map shows that share of urbanization in a district. So basically it is talking about each and every district in the map. However, we cannot identify specifically all these maps, but region wise easily we can understand, no? The lighter color of district, lower the urban share. The darker the color, the higher the share of urbanization. Now, urban population is much higher in south, west and the parts of north, whereas UP, Eastern India including Bihar, Jharkhand and some parts of northeast share is relatively much less. One can easily identify from these maps. Some more inputs. In general, there is an increase in urbanization across India in 2011 compared to 1991. However, the stark divide is there between south, west, north and east continues to exist. Now, if you see specifically the Balmer and Jaisalmer districts of Rajasthan, the share of urban population has decreased. This is talking about 2011, this is talking about 1991 and it is comparing the two census data. Okay. Many districts in Arunachal Pradesh record an improvement in urbanization rate. This part you can see here, earlier it was lighter one, now it has become darker one. So urbanization increased in Arunachal Pradesh. Many eastern and northeastern districts continue to have less than 5% of urban population. You can see that which states we are talking here is especially eastern UP and Bihar, that region. Now, in south, only Idukki and Wayanad district are very low on the urbanization scale with less than 5% residents classified as urban. Between this, Ariyalur district in Tamil Nadu too had less than 5%. Basically, you should know that why we are talking here less urban in those districts, because there is high density of forest and majority of area is basically protected area like national parks, wildlife sanctuaries in that region. Okay, that's why we are saying that the urbanization is less in those districts. Otherwise, as a state, you can see the darker color is there. So urbanization is very high in that region. Now, talking also simultaneously, look at this map. Night lights. Why we are looking at this map? Because the night lights are good proxy for urbanization and industrialization in the region. In urban regions, largely the consumption of electricity is there at night time, be it related to industries or street lights or even the household appliances, or let's say at night also people are working. You can see in rural area at night after 7-8 o'clock the lights are switched off, everyone is sleeping. Fine. So this shows the urbanization level 1996 and 2013, the comparison is there. The night light were brightest in Kerala and Punjab and they are middling in the Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Maharashtra and other parts. You can see here. Average night light weighted by pixel area. तो यहाँ पे दिखाई दे रहा है आपको जो लाइटर कलर है वो ब्राइटर है, डार्कर कलर जो है वो लेस लाइट कलर है, दिखाई दे रहा है ये. तो ये जो पहले जो एवरेज नाइट लाइट वेटेड बाय पिक्सल एरिया, ये जो है एवरेज नाइट लाइट, तो ये कहीं ज़्यादा इस एरिया में है येलो कलर में, राइट. Notably, across the Hindi heartland, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, the night lights have become brighter in some districts and darker in the others. But in general, the other parts of India have recorded increase in nighttime luminosity. Okay, so you can see that earlier, whatever the darkness was there in this region, now it has increased. The light has increased in that region. The night lights were dimmest in the Hindi heartland, the eastern states of West Bengal, we can say that Chhattisgarh and Northeast. Okay, so base comparison you can take from the night lights also. And in terms of consumption also, because there is higher consumption, the darker the district, higher the consumption. This is the correlation shown, but you should know that the consumption in urban areas is very high as compared to rural areas. All this data, and along with that you can see population density. Now urban areas are having comparatively much higher we can say population density as compared to rural areas. So here also you can understand the darker colors, western and southern states, and here you can see that the northern belt is having more density, but still there is no urbanization. Okay, darker the color, higher the population density, but still we can see that whatever the population density that is there in these states, it is not resulting into per se urbanization. Now, urbanization and challenges. Let's go in detail about urbanization because it is very important topic. First we will talk about causes, then we will talk about impacts, what government is doing, government initiatives and further measures that are required. Likewise, we can discuss causes. Yes, urbanization. When we say that urbanization, that means there is increase in urban population. Or people living in urban areas, their population is increasing. Now, if we talk about causes, simply first one, industrialization. Industrialization result into employment opportunities. So, good employment opportunities are there in urban areas. Then we can say that migration is there from rural areas to urban areas, that leads to increase in population. Then better facilities are there in terms of education, health. So that's why the migration is there. So urban cities or urban centers are attracting them. Then better transportation is available. All these are causes, we can say, of urbanization. And then the government policies is also one of the factor, we can say. Now, impact, negative impact and positive impact, even within the impact, positive impact, negative impact. In terms of positives, what you can mention that better standard of living, better standard of living to some extent. Then we can say increase in the income of people, income level, better education and health facilities. Health facilities are there. Then we can say that better employment opportunities, skilled jobs are available in urban areas. Right. So all these goods and services are easily available for the people. No, so better standard of life. Now negatives are the challenges that we are facing here. Generally we can divide them as economic, social, political, social and cultural, we can say, political, administrative. Okay, so administrative and all generally we can talk later, but economic aspect and environmental aspect is very important. Okay, so here you can talk about the scarcity of land, shanty settlements, slum development. Then you can talk about environment related, pollution, air, water, land. Then you can talk about solid waste, its disposal, a big challenge we can talk here. Then land use change, it is also having issues related to, we can say, the concretization, albedo is changing, and because of that urban heat island effect is there. Then we can say that urban floods are happening because the water is not getting seeped. Along with that, we are reducing the capacities of all these water bodies in urban areas, be it lakes and wetlands. It is creating problem. Best example, recent example you can mention is the Bangalore floods, 2020 Hyderabad and Pune floods. So these urban floods have become frequent. Why? Because land use change is happening, and along with that, the management of urban water bodies is weak to some extent. There are lacunae. Fine. So these problems you can mention here. And socio-cultural aspects are also important, be it nuclear families, more focus on freedom, liberal aspects. Okay, so that's why we are seeing the live-in relationship or inter-religious, inter-caste marriages. Liberal living is there in urban areas. So cultural changes happen in urban. So urban-rural conflict is there in terms of socio-cultural practices. Okay, so cosmopolitan culture is being adopted in urban areas. So that friction, when the people come from rural areas to urban areas, they are not able to match up with this. This becomes again one challenge here. So socio-cultural aspect one can mention. In terms of political, one can talk about urban local self-governments in India and their challenges. The challenges they are facing in terms of, we can say, 3 Fs. Funds, functions and functionaries. 74th Constitutional Amendment Act talks about municipalities. So the major problems, challenges they face you can mention here. In terms of administrative, very high levels of crime rate that is there in urban areas. So we know that as the problems related to socio-economic aspects increases and the people start living in the shanty settlements, they do not have appropriate income levels or housing facilities, they resort to crimes here for income purpose. Okay, and this result into administrative problem in urban areas. Along with that, there is lot of congestion and traffic problems. This is also administrative concern. So almost all urban areas face this problem. Land scarcity is there, and because of that, the urban sprawl is happening. Administration is facing this challenge as how to manage this. Okay, so now in terms of way forward or what government is doing, government schemes you should be knowing. Smart city mission. Smart city mission is there. Then you can talk about Hriday scheme. Heritage development scheme is there. Then we have this Amrit 2.0 now. Development, the city development schemes. Then we have National Urban Livelihood Mission. Then we have Swachh Bharat Mission urban component. Then we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana urban component. Then we have National Urban Health Mission. You should be knowing about government schemes and their implementation. Now, despite of these schemes being implemented in urban areas, still we face the problem. So what further measures are required? There are some concepts like decongestion. How decongestion can happen? Decongestion of cities, like counter urbanization. This is concept in geography. Counter urbanization. Like there should be some counter magnets. Like for example, in NCR region, Delhi NCR region. So in the center Delhi is there, then we have here, we can say that counter magnets, like we have Noida, we have Gurugram, Faridabad, like this counter magnets, so that the pressure on central Delhi or Delhi, that region, capital territory, is reduced, counter urbanization. Then along with that, we need to have sound urban planning. This is very important because unplanned urbanization is the problem. Urbanization per se is not the major problem here, but the unplanned urbanization is the major concern. Okay, so urban planning one can talk about here. Now, in terms of urban planning, you talk about planning related to land, water and other resources, be it waste development or waste management, land development and its use, water and its purification plants and sourcing the water, minimum availability of water, tap water to all. Inclusive aspects is very important, and because of that only we can say that there is some kind of divide within the urban areas. We see the skyscrapers in one area and surrounding to that there are slums with the minimum or no availability of basic facilities like electricity or water, or we can say health facilities and education. So that should be inclusive. Then we can talk about housing, affordable housing. Affordable housing is very important. Slum redevelopment should happen. For that purpose, affordable housing could be made available to the people. Then employment opportunities. Okay, for pollution, there is need of rapid mass transport like metro, CNG buses and other like Mumbai local trains. Mass transport should be promoted. Okay, so this is also very important. Then afforestation or urban forestry should be promoted. Okay, so this is very important aspects. You can talk like this in the way forward or measures to counter the urbanization, let's say unplanned urbanization specifically. Now, coming back to the newspaper, the other articles that we will discuss. Okay. Yes, these two important articles are there. This is talking about performance grading index of Ministry of Education for 2020-21 was released recently, and this is the data of UDISE, the government platform, Ministry of Education platform, talking about the number of children in pre-primary, primary and the secondary, higher secondary education. In comparative aspects are mentioned here. We will cover this article from polity and HRD section. Now, look at this. Going beyond Amur falcons, Nagaland to celebrate avian diversity, undertake census. So, we will cover this from environment section, prelims part. Then child welfare police officers a must in all police stations. GS2 paper, we will cover this article here. Fine. Okay. So, let us see the PDF and discuss these important articles again. Okay, so I was talking about this festival, this photograph, and the Hindu newspaper, every time the front page has such kind of let's say photographs, especially from the cultural and ethnic diversity celebrated in northeastern India. So this photo is basically talking about or showing the Garo tribal community performing Wangla dance in during the Wangla festival. Wangla festival. It is basically the harvest festival. It is harvest festival, and it is also celebrated as the Rising Sun Water Festival 2022 on the banks of Umiam Lake in Meghalaya. This photograph is mentioned. Okay, remember Garo tribes and Wangla dance, Wangla festival and the Rising Sun Water Festival. Umiam Lake is in Meghalaya. Now, next, decline in pre-primary enrollment continued in 2021-22. says the government report. Government report जो भी होगा वो हमारे लिए important होता है. So data book, GS2 paper, HRD part, governance aspect, human resource development, education. Okay, so this particular article is talking about the school education data, and it is comparing 2018-19, 2021 and the last year, and you can see the important observations made in this. Number of children entering pre-primary classes decline. See here, last 2 year comparison. This red color is pre-primary. Last year, the number of children getting inducted in the pre-primary classes 1.06 crore. Now only 95 lakhs this year. Enrollment in primary classes also declined for the first time. You can see this one. 12.2 crore was there, now 12.18 crore. These are the important observations. Then all other levels there is increase in the number of students, that is at upper primary, secondary and higher secondary. Last 2 years if you compare, there is increase in the number of students. The other observations made, number of teachers also declined in these 2 years comparatively. There were also 1.89 lakh or 1.98% fewer teachers as compared to the previous year. And number of schools also declined. First time since pandemic, the report records decline in number of schools due to closures as well as lack of teachers. These developments are happening, and one hand the government is promoting implementation of National Education Policy 2020, and on the other hand such outcomes that we are witnessing since we can say since pandemic here. So in data book you mention about this data. Child welfare police officers a must in all police stations. Basically the Home Ministry has given the directive to all we can say the all Directors General of Police for the states, and this has said that appoint a child welfare police officer in every police station to exclusively deal with children either as a victim or perpetrators. A special juvenile police unit in each district and the city, which is headed by officer not below rank of Deputy Superintendent of Police, will be established. This unit would comprise the child welfare police officers and 2 social workers having experience working in the field of child welfare, of whom one shall be women. Now, why this is being implemented? Advisory issued by the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and this is also referred to the provisions under Juvenile Justice Act of 2015, which calls for designating at least one officer not below rank of ASI as this child welfare police officer in every station. This is being implemented. This is good thing because it is kind of, we can say, police reforms, criminal justice reforms, GS2 paper, mains examination, polity and governance, also public administration. Now, going beyond Amur falcons, Nagaland to celebrate avian diversity undertakes census. This article is basically talking 4-day Tokhu among bird count. Remember this, why? Because this is post-harvest Tokhu among festival of Lothas tribal community, Naga tribe community, Lothas, and they are involved in the conservation of Amur falcons in Vokha district of Nagaland. In Vokha district of Nagaland, the most preferred stopover of Amur falcons, this district in India, very famous, while traveling from East Asia to the Southern Africa. Yes, these Amur falcons are basically the migratory birds. They migrate from Eastern Asia to the Southern Africa during the winter, and during that migratory path, they stop over in India, in Nagaland, in this Vokha district. Okay, so that's why it is very important. Amur falcons, Nagaland, remember this. Now, Yes, the performance grading index of Ministry of Education, and this year 2020-21 index is released, and Gujarat is now among the top performers in the school education. Now, why this index is released by the Ministry of Education? It is a tool to provide insight on the status of school education in the states and union territories, including key levers that drive their performance and critical areas of the improvement. It classifies states as well as union territories into 10 grades based on their score out of total 1000 points. Now, how these 1000 points are calculated? On the basis of total 70 indicators divided in 5 domains. Which are these 5 domains considered here? Learning outcome, very important. Then access to the education, second. Third, infrastructure and facilities. Fourth, equity. Fifth, governance process. Okay. Now, although no state found the place in the top grade, the first grade, that is having score of 900 plus. Okay. Gujarat, Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh have joined Kerala, Punjab, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra in the categorized as level 2 with the score of 900 to 950. Sorry. So, level 1 is 951 plus to 1000. Okay. This information on the indicator is collected from various sources. Which are the sources? Unified District Information System for Education, National Achievement Survey of NCRT, Midday Meal Scheme website, Public Financial Management System. ठीक है. So ये सारे पोर्टल्स से वो डेटा लिया जाता है. Okay, so remember this for prelims examination. Now RESAT-2 satellite makes re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. This is in news. Now it makes entry uncontrolled re-entry. Remember this, uncontrolled means there was no control from the ground stations. There was no control from the ground stations. What is this RESAT-2? Radar Imaging Satellite 2 was Indian Radar Imaging Reconnaissance Satellite that was part of India's RESAT program. The principal sensor of RESAT was X-band synthetic aperture radar, SAR, very important, and for the first time any satellite in India had this aperture or sensor, SAR sensor. It possessed day and night as well as all weather monitoring capability. So this was very helpful from the defense perspective. It was also dubbed as India's spy satellite. RESAT-2, remember this, helped in tracking hostile ships at sea. Along with that, monitor India's borders as well as a part of anti-infiltration and anti-terrorist operations. This RESAT-2 was also used in search and rescue operations, eventually locate the wreckage of helicopter crash that claimed the life of YS R. Reddy. YS R. Reddy, former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh at that time. Okay, so this could be asked in the prelims examination, RESAT-2, remember this. Now, India abstains on the resolution on Ukraine at UNSC meet, and this resolution was initiated by Russia. Okay, at United Nations Security Council that sought to establish a commission to investigate claims by Russia that US and Ukraine are carrying out military biological activity in laboratories in Ukraine in violation of Biological Weapons Convention. हमारे लिए important क्या है? Biological Weapons Convention, prelims. It is in news, so that's why we should cover from prelims perspective. This was signed in 1972, came in force in 1975. At present, 109 countries are signatory, although these many members have signed, are party to this treaty. It bans the nation from producing, stockpiling, acquiring or retaining biological agents that could be used as a weapons. Okay. India has already ratified this treaty in 2015. Remember this. And how the state parties review this? These review operations at the review conferences are done. At present, 8 review conferences have happened for this Biological Weapons Convention. Now, the mains related questions. Discuss the challenges of urbanization in India and suggest the effective measures to overcome them. Straightforward question. Just now we had detailed discussion about the urbanization, the causes, the problems, the government measures and the way forward. Despite several measures by the government, urban centers in India continue to face many problems. There should be some command here, sorry for that. Examine. Okay, examine or analyze, such kind of command could be there, right? So you should be knowing some government measures here. We have enlisted that measures. Now what should be answer to these questions? Just now we have seen Amur falcons have stopover in India in which state? Nagaland, in northeast India. C is the answer. Now, yes, it was signed in 1972 Biological Weapons Convention. India is not signatory, India is signatory, no, it has ratified. First we sign this convention, then we ratify it. So of course, India has ratified in 2015 means India is signatory to the convention. So it is incorrect. So 1 only is the correct answer, A. Although it looks simple, but it is purely factual. If you don't know about it, you cannot attempt it. सारे आंसर सही लगता है अगर आपको ये पता ही नहीं है. हिस्ट्री का प्रॉब्लम यही है या कल्चर का, आर्ट एंड कल्चर का यही प्रॉब्लम है, आपको एक्यूरेटली पता होना चाहिए. वांगला डांस ऑफ वांगला फेस्टिवल, वी कैन से इट इज टिपिकल ऑफ गारो ट्राइब्स ऑफ मेघालय. ओके, यस, एनी क्वेश्चन? Fine, let us stop then. Okay.
The first step towards achieving your dreams is having the right coach. Get the best education with Lukmaan IAS and make your UPSC dreams come true. Download the app now.